guess what? I just got tagged. And I was tagged by CB's Greenhouse and Garden. And the tag had to do with 5 different questions about kind of why we do things. So I thought I would go ahead and answer those 5 questions. And by the way, if you haven't been over to CB's and Renee's, CB's Greenhouse and Garden, you ought to check them out. Man, they're a fine couple people, and they've got a really nice setup there, and they can teach you a whole lot on how to get the maximum amount of produce off of a very small area. That's what impresses me the most about them. He's done an awful good job there, and he's just getting ready to get ramped up. So be sure and check out CB's Greenhouse and Garden. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to answer these 5 questions, and I want you to know this is the first time that I've done this. There's lots of firsts going on here at my channel, and I really do appreciate that, CB, tagging me. I'd be more than happy to answer these questions, and then we'll go ahead and tag 5 people that I would like for you to go check out, and I would like to hear the answers from. So, all right, the first question is, why do you garden? Well, I would say the main reason that I garden is mainly to learn how to feed myself and my family if I had to. And this is not anything that's really new for me. It's been going on. I've gardened, for years, and I enjoy getting out and playing in the dirt. And it just kind of follows right along after the greenhouse season. It's therapeutic to me to get out and get a hold of a good hoe and just work in the garden in the evenings. So that's probably the main reason, but I think the most important reason is to just learn how. And there's different tricks to different plants, and I think the more that you know, you don't necessarily have to raise those plants every year, but I think that it's important that you learn how to raise them. Question 2, why do you do YouTube? Well, I love it. I absolutely love making videos. And I don't know how much knowledge that I'm going to be able to throw out there that you're going to be able to learn from, but it really does my heart good when I've been able to teach somebody else something from my experience. And believe me, I've made lots of mistakes, but I think those mistakes help in the teaching process. So that's mainly the reason that I do YouTube, is to teach people. The sole reason I started my channel was to teach people that there are different ways to get out there and make a living. You don't have to always just go along with the crowd. There's just a host of different things that you can get into and make a really good living for your family. It involves hard work, but if you can find your passion in any field, you can go far. It doesn't necessarily have to be like everybody else is doing it. So you find what you like and just be the best that you can be at it, and you'll do fine. So that was the reason I started the channel. All right, question 3, how long have you been growing for? All right, I got a couple different answers for that. Greenhouse, we've been growing since 1999. We started very small, and we've just added a few plants each year and learned about them and tried to get good at them, and then we would keep adding as we went along. So it started out as a hobby, and we have just kind of expanded over the years until we were able to turn it into a living. So it's something that we really enjoy doing. I take a great deal of pride in my product, and sometimes that can be a little stressful, but I wouldn't change a thing. Now, growing in the garden is a totally different answer. I've been growing in the garden as long as I can remember. I had a grandmother that was just an expert, and that's how we would make our money when we were little, is we would grow produce and sell on the roadside, and that's how we would come up with money to go to the county fair. So I have been growing in the garden for probably 35 to 40 years. I hate to tell you that, but I just had a birthday yesterday. I just turned 47. So as soon as I was big enough to get a hold of a hoe and do something with it, I've been in the garden. So that's the answer for that one. Now, number 4, what do you grow? Well, I can't go into everything that we grow here in the greenhouse, but annuals, vegetables, flowers, baskets, planters, the whole 9 yards. We have a huge selection here in the greenhouse. In the garden, we always grow tomatoes, we always grow potatoes, we'll grow some corn, we always grow lettuce and onions, and we'll usually grow some beans. So those are the kind of the top things. We never really grow enough to can or sell here. I don't have time to fool with it through the summer. Just enough to enjoy getting out and working in just a little bit. So we're not going to raise a great big garden, but those are the items that we like to eat, and that's what we'll raise. So those are the ones. Alrighty, now number 5. What is your favorite thing to grow? In the greenhouse, I'm going to have to say my favorite thing to grow and to watch grow are geraniums. Geraniums are tricky, and it took me a lot of years to figure out those tricks and what to do to raise a good geranium. And not everybody can raise a good geranium. There's just something about them. Their pH levels are so finicky. Iron levels are finicky. You just really got to be careful with a geranium. And once you get them out in the landscape, it seems like they just do great, man. They're tough. But they're a little tricky in the greenhouse. But that is probably my most favorite plant to grow, because I just love watching it grow and improve. So in the greenhouse, that would have to be it. Out in the garden, it's kind of funny, but I'm going to have to say potatoes. To me, and I don't know if it's from when I was little, my grandma always had us growing potatoes. There's nothing prettier to me than a nice row of potatoes. I like looking at the tops just about as much as I like eating the potatoes themselves. And of course, I could eat a potato every day. But I really enjoy growing potatoes, and that's something that I've always got in my garden. If I have anything, I'll have a row or two of potatoes. Now, the 5 channels that I'm going to tag for this, I got to admit to you, I am not subscribed to a ton of different channels. I watch a few. I try to watch them religiously and support them, but I haven't got time to sit down for hours on end and watch a lot of channels. So these channels that I'm going to recommend to you are channels that I watch, and I like all of them really well. So we're going to start out with number 1 is going to be Okie Rob. He's got a farm and a greenhouse out in Oklahoma, and he also farms or gardens quite a bit. Got a pretty good sized plot out there that he puts in garden. He just planted his onions the other day. Man, he's mastered the onions, so you'll have to check him out. So Okie Rob would be my first one. Number 2 would be Andy's Backyard and Shop. Now, Andy's a woodworker by trade, but he also gardens. He's got some raised beds in his backyard, and this will be my first year of watching Andy in his backyard in those beds. So I'm going to recommend that you go on over there and check him out too. I've been watching Andy for a long months and months, and I really like him. And he's doing a good job with his woodwork, but he's also very excited about getting out in his garden. So we're going to recommend Andy's Backyard and Shop. Number 3 is going to be Spring Hill Farms. Now, I realize some of these are going to be doubled up from what CB tagged, but like I say, I don't watch that many. So we're going to go ahead and you can recommend Spring Hill Farms. So you guys are tagged again. Sorry about that. But I've been watching them for quite a while. They do a whole lot of hydroponic growing in their greenhouses, lettuce, and in troughs. It's really interesting to me because it's something that I just have never seen before, and they have got it mastered. So you want to check out Spring Hill Farms. Number 4 is going to be Finster Farm. He's another one we're going to double up on with CB and tag him. I've been watching Finster Farm for quite some time, and he's a go-getter. He's into constructing some new greenhouses right now, I think, and he also raises produce in troughs. And I like old Chuck over there. That's a really good channel. Now, number 5 is my neighbor and friend J0. I've been watching him, of course, since I've been watching YouTube, And J. Noel Zero raises a garden every year, and I can tell you that he is the real deal because he gets his vegetable plants from me, and he gets a bunch of them, and he really works at it. He is tried and true homesteader. He went for years living off of just what he could produce. So I've witnessed that myself, and I'm sure most of you guys have heard of J. Noel Zero, but if you haven't heard of him, you need to get over and check his channel out. He's a pretty big channel, and he's been a good friend of my family's since he moved to the creek, and so I wanted to throw him in there. So I guess that'll do it for me. If I can figure out how to get these links over there, I'll do it. I'll have to get my daughter, my tech support, to help me with that, and we'll see if we can't get these links there in the description to make it a little bit easier for you to find these channels. But I'm not real tech savvy. We'll do the best we can. But anyway, that's all that I had for today. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch up with you on the next video.